say about us, for instance. You say, you believe Jesus is divine, you believe the Holy Spirit's divine, you believe the Father is divine, yet you're saying that there's only one God. So actually you're undercover polytheists. That's what you're telling us. Well, in the Quran itself, there's a distinction between Allah and His Spirit. There's a distinction between Allah and His Spirit. So you're saying you've got Allah and the Spirit that He sends, and both have the attributes of God, therefore, according to what you say. Now, I believe that there can be a plurality within the Godhead. So I don't have a problem with this, but when Muslims tell me that we are polytheists or something like that, then you've just accused yourselves of being polytheistic. That's what we're pointing out. But not only that, we have all kinds of other problems in Islam. For instance, the status of Muhammad and a ton of other issues. You want to?
Yeah, just Ahmed. In the beginning of the program, I quoted verses from the Quran.
Sure. You know.
Yeah, I just want let me show you what he's talking about. If you're watching from the beginning, I had quoted several passages from the Quran concerning the Spirit of Allah. I showed from the Quran the Spirit is sent by Allah as Allah's messenger. The Spirit can appear as a man. The Spirit gives life. He's the one who caused Mary to get pregnant. And the Spirit is not Angel Gabriel. And the Spirit is with all believers everywhere. All of which shows that Allah's Spirit is divine. And I gave the verses from the Quran. I can give you a couple of them. So the point is, when you say there's only one God, what do you mean? There's only one person who's God? Because Allah and the Spirit are distinct. They're not the same. Because the Spirit is sent by Allah. He comes down by the orders of Allah. But the Spirit gives life. He's the agent of life. And He's with all believers to give them power to remain faithful to Allah. These are attributes that only God has. What do you say about that?
Sure, okay. Well, I got, you made clear, and thank you for that. But, I want to get back to what you were talking about, even though it wasn't the subject of this, show and stuff,
yes.
Talking about Moses, the prophet Moses, peace be upon him, within the fire, that God was within the fire, not in the fire. That's the translation within. And
how can Allah be in a fire?
Like all the people know, it doesn't mean that you are in the actual fire. It's within. It's with the surroundings of the fire.
No,
anywhere.
Ahmed, I'm going to have to disagree with you, because it says, blessed is he who's in the fire and about it. The one who's about it is Moses. So is Moses actually around the fire, or that's not actual?
But it's true. Who is within the fire?
Okay, no, but if you answer my question, Ahmed, you'll see the problem you just created for yourself. When it says, blessed is he who's in the fire and around it, if you read some of the commentators, they'll tell you that the one who's around it is a reference to Moses. He was around the fire. So was Moses literally around the fire?
Yeah. Within.
Okay, so then why do you deny that Allah was literally in the fire? Because it says the one in the fire and the one around it. If Moses is actually around the fire, then that means Allah is actually in the fire. You can't pick and choose what you want. It's the same context.
In other words, you can't pick the first part and say, that's metaphorical, and the second part, that's literal, when it's the same passage, same context, same everything.
So why do you reject it?
Okay. Well, since it's not, the topic, that's another issue. Let's address, because I don't know about how time you guys are going to allow me in the show and stuff. So let's address that thing. That's another thing, that we could get back to it in a particular specific, subject that's going to go to it. That when you talked about the Ruh al-Amin, about the Ruh al-Amin, that word, it doesn't mean that the soul of Allah. It's talking about the prophet Gabriel that was sent.
Well, show us that from the Quran.
I already mentioned that, yes.
The Quran. And in fact, it can't refer to Gabriel unless you believe that Gabriel has the attributes of God, and that Gabriel is another God besides Allah.
Yep.
No. Who gives those attributes?
Ahmed, you're probably not understanding what he's saying. If you had listened from the beginning, Ahmed, I had said Muslims say that Gabriel is the Spirit. And I challenge any Muslim to quote an ayah from the Quran saying that the Spirit of truth, the faithful Spirit, the Holy Spirit is Gabriel. Let me read what the Quran says when your Prophet was asked about who the Spirit is. This comes from Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17 of the Quran, ayah 85. When your Prophet was asked about the Spirit, he didn't say it was Jibreel. This is what he said. Let me read it to you. They will question you concerning the Spirit, Ruh. Say, the Spirit comes down by the orders of my Lord. You have been given of knowledge nothing except a little. When Muhammad is asked who the Spirit is, he didn't say it was Gabriel. He goes, the Spirit comes down by orders of Allah, and you've only been given a little knowledge concerning the Spirit. Why are you adding to the words of the Quran? The Quran never says the Spirit is Gabriel. When your prophet is asked if who the Spirit is, he doesn't say it's Gabriel. So why are you adding words?
Please, you know that I'm not adding words. You are confusing words.
Okay, give me the verse. It says that Gabriel is the Spirit. Ayah, chapter and verse.
And they ask you about the soul.
No, Ruh is not soul. No, Ahmad. Ahmad, Ruh is not soul. Nafs is soul. Ruh is spirit. Nafs means soul in the Quran. So no, please, don't misquote the Arabic. They ask you about Ruh, spirit. Soul in Arabic is nafs. So no, that's a mistake, Ahmad. So give me the verse where it says Gabriel is the Spirit. I'm still waiting.
Okay, yeah. وَنَزَلَ بِهِ الرُّوحُ الْأَمِينُ. It has come, you know, with this Holy Spirit. Ruh al-Amin, the bliss, you know, the one that's not going to say a lie about it. It's talking about the Quran. Who has revealed it to who?
And who revealed the Quran to Muhammad? Only Gabriel?
Gabriel.
No, more than Gabriel. I have the verses saying no. Not only Gabriel revealed the Quran, others came down with the Quran. Others, not just Gabriel.
Where did you read that from?
Okay, let me read it to you. This comes from Surah An-Nahl, 16 verse 2. Surah An-Nahl, 16 verse 2. He sends down the angels with his spirit of his command unto whom he will of his bondsmen. So it's not just Gabriel comes down, the Spirit and angels come down together. Why are you assuming only Gabriel comes down?
Well, exactly, that's what you're saying. He sends, could you repeat the verse?
Okay, Ahmed, is Jibril an angel? He's an angel, right?
Please repeat.
Okay, but answer the question. I'm going to read the verse. Answer the question.
Okay, thank you.
Is Gabriel an angel?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that proves that Gabriel's not the Spirit. Let me read it again. Surah 16, verse 2. He sends down the angels. Now, Dave, is Gabriel part of these angels?
Yes, absolutely.
He sends down the angels and the Spirit of his command. So the Spirit is someone different from the angels. The angels includes Gabriel. They're not the same. And so Gabriel doesn't just come down. He comes down with other angels, and the Spirit comes down as well. They're not the same. They're not the same.
You have not repeated the verse that you
This is the one I read, Surah An-Nahl, Ayah 2. This is the one I just read to you twice. I'll read it again. Okay. He sends down the angels with the Spirit of his command. So the angels includes Gabriel.
So there's, just to be clear, there's a distinction, according to your Quran, between angels and the Spirit of Allah. They're two different, and you're saying the Spirit of Allah is an angel. Well, no. According to the Quran, they're not the same thing. There's the angels, and then there's the Spirit who goes with the angels.
That's right.
Why do you guys want to confuse yourself? It's very simple.
Well, hey, if you think this is confusing, it's your Quran that's confusing.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think on this point, I don't think that the Quran is confusing. The Quran nowhere identifies the Spirit as Gabriel.
Right.
Muslims later, I think Muslims later did something with this because it conflicts with their claim of the absolute oneness of Allah. So they had to do something with this Spirit because the Spirit was obviously distinct from Allah, and so well the Spirit must be Gabriel. Well, according to the Quran, no.
It's different in Arabic here.
Which one?
The same verse says ينزل الملائكة بالروح, not with, but by
the Spirit of His command. Yes. But there's a distinction between the angels and the Spirit. So either with or by, the point is they're not the same group.
It makes it look like they were anointed.